with everyone. I was friends with the nerds and the rebels. I was even friends with the punk rock kids until they turned into white supremacists, and I was like, wait, I'm Jewish. I couldn't get a guy. Just wasn't happening for me. And it kind of started to feel like that was my entire life. So I got a little angsty, started listening to grunge music, got into Hole, Nirvana, Bikini Kill, L7. But at the end of the day, there was one favorite, and that was the Beastie Boys. And I was absolutely going to marry MCA, rest in peace. In retrospect, my devotion to these Beastie Boys probably played a little bit of a role in me never dating anyone. Because most of the time I took my fashion cues from them, which meant that I was most of the time dressed like a poorly dressed boy. And you'll get to experience that with my self-portrait. Soak this all in. For those of you that don't know, the Tricycle shirt came with my subscription to Tricycle Magazine, which was a Tibetan Buddhist magazine that I subscribed to as Lindsay Yauk when I found out that MCA was becoming a Tibetan Buddhist. Then there was my old man golf pants, a Power Rangers watch, the Batman Converse, which I have worn for you this evening. But not surprisingly, middle school ended up with 0 boyfriends. And it's just kind of how it went. Come high school, though, I found a man. He was a super sexy metalhead that he was from Bulgaria. His hair was always in his face, and I affectionately called him Death Metal Phil. Thankfully, I captured his hotness in some detailed illustrations for all of you, just so you can see how fun. This is Death Metal Phil in all his glory. Korn t-shirt and all. And then I decided to make a list of the pros and cons of Death Metal Phil. I needed to evaluate whether this was going to be good. Pros: he smiles, he laughs a lot, he's pretty nice, he's in a band, and he goes to Riverview High School. Cons: I don't know him too well. I think we've had maybe like 2 interactions. I don't think he's ever talked to me. Goes to Riverview and in a band. So I recognized at this point that could go either way. I'm a scientist, really, and this is my scientifically labeled diagram of Phil, because if you weren't paying attention to the picture, you might have missed things like black hair and face, heavy metal t-shirt, a chain, guitar. Anyway, then there's modern Phil. I'm not actually sure if I challenged myself to draw modern Phil or if I was just really pissed off and the scribbles became the likeness of Phil. And then there's other renditions of Death Metal Phil, complete with intricate detail. He's looking pretty good. You can actually see his face in this one. There's a second modern Phil. Really getting out there with my art. And then Phil on stage. His band name was Prophecy. And if you can't read in the title, I said, so I was left out in the cold for this crush, but I know what a Bulgarian stud he is. They're all just blind. I didn't care if my friends thought I was weird. That hair in his face was dead fucking sexy. And finally, the crazy match. Us together. You can't see his face. I'm honestly not sure if I ever did, but I'm sure he's smiling under there. Alas, even though we were a crazy match, things never panned out between me and Death Metal Phil. I did have a boyfriend for like 2 days though. Our first day together, I got braces, and we shared a really awkward chapstick-flavored kiss, and then he dumped me for his ex. So I started to give up. I just thought, you know what, this isn't happening. Maybe I'll just wait till college and maybe things will get better. So, spring semester of college, I ended up studying with the hottest guy I'd ever seen in one of my classes. I assumed I had no chance. Like, was he really gonna look up at me and be like, oh, look how hot my tutor is? I figured he probably had a girlfriend. She was a dancer for the Nuggets or something. I didn't think he'd go for me until one fateful day he materialized in front of me on Pearl Street. April 2004. So out of the blue, I get a call from the hot guy in class. We had exchanged numbers back in the day from a group project. I ran into him on Pearl Street and we caught up. He asked what I was up to that night and I said, not much. What an exciting life, right? I had about zero confidence that he would actually call. Absolutely shocking. He called and asked if I wanted to go out with his friends. Yes. His friend drives a minivan so he can drive around biking and camping. So we piled into the mom van and headed out. About 10 minutes down the road, I find out we're headed to an Ethiopian restaurant. Shit. I have the gastrointestinal constitution of a bubble boy. So I tried to eat really plain food without looking like an ass. As dinner finished, I actually felt okay and decided to accept the offer to head back to his apartment and hang out with the friends. Poor life choice. About 5 minutes into the drive, I started to get the gurgles, then the squeaks, and I'm sitting in this minivan wondering if anyone else can hear these sounds and trying to figure out what my escape plan is. Finally, we make it to the apartment, and I act natural for about all 5 minutes, and nope, I need a bathroom. I find it, the only bathroom, and I'm praying for liquid rapid fire. There's a fan. But this isn't liquid. I realize in this moment that I'm birthing an anaconda. An anus-conda. Shit. I stand up, I turn around, I look down, and it's like a child's arm reaching out. Now what? There is no fucking way this is going down. Pure panic. I know that I haven't been gone long, but the clock is ticking. And then, a moment of clarity. There's really only one option. And before I get a chance to question it, I slide open the window. I reach into the toilet. And I throw my shit out the window. It was a second story window. I genuinely didn't know what was on the other side of that window and I didn't fucking care. I stood at the sink washing my hands like I was scrubbing in for surgery. Then I walked out. I hung out for a bit, to play it cool. And then asked him if he could take me home. I feel like I was as normal as possible. We talked on the way back, and I couldn't help but notice just how hot he was. Then I realized I probably had my own shit on me. There was no making out. The story didn't end there. Guy calls me next day and invites me over to watch a football game on TV. And I'm thinking, I'm just gonna play this cool. Big group of people, not sure what I'm doing yet. I get there, it's just the two of us. We go upstairs, and then we hear his roommate calling down to us from the courtyard where he's walking his dog. So we go down there, and the roommate says, "There's no fucking way this is from a dog." And he points to this shit, my shit, that I launched out the window. So there I am, next to the hottest guy who has ever shown any interest in me, standing in a powwow around my shit. And they can't help themselves. Was it a bear? Was it a Yeti? I remember laughing awkwardly and saying, "Wow, that's a big shit." Things fizzled out between us after that. The guy never knew about my Hail Mary turd toss out his window. And it was certainly my move. But I quickly realized that I needed to be with somebody who could appreciate that story. And he was not going to be that guy. Since then, many years later, I found the love of my life who appreciates this story. We have a 2.5-year-old whose middle name is Adam after MCA. And he freaks out every time he hears the Beastie Boys and can identify all three. Recently, I got back in touch with Death Metal Phil, and I sent him one of those portraits over Facebook, and he said he was awkwardly flattered and appreciated the detail of his leg hair.